When I hear about Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, and Ghost, I hear that it's lazy, it's the same, and it's just not good. But after these past couple of years, going back to these three hated Call of Duties, especially their campaigns, is like discovering a different era of Call of Duty a lot of us missed out on. Recently, I've played all three of these campaigns, and I've thoroughly enjoyed them all. So in the next three videos, I'm going over the three most hated Call of Duty games to see if they still disappoint like a lot of people say they do, starting with Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I will be bringing up Advanced Warfare often because Infinite Warfare more closely aligns with AW, even though they are 2 years apart. Infinity Ward was starting to make this game right when AW came out. I'm sure they drew their inspirations from them and Treyarch's Black Ops 3, but based on the final product, I'd say more from Advanced Warfare. Also, they made it because they thought everybody loved being in the future, without realizing that in the future, the feelings people might have with releasing a third futuristic game in 3 years. Nobody ever thought, hey, maybe we should do a modern or World War II game in between so we don't suck the people dry. Well, no one thought that. And so I don't think there were many people at the party celebrating the fact that it was the most disliked gaming YouTube video in the world. Yikes. Also, I just want to point out the fact that everyone is frustrated that video games cost $80 now. Guess what? When Infinite Warfare was revealed, they revealed that the Legacy Edition, including the Modern Warfare Remaster, was going to cost $80. And that came out 10 years ago. So this practice has already been put into place for a while now, and now it's just becoming more common, which is depressing. Only now, you know who did it first. It was Bobby Kotick and Activision. Okay? It wasn't Nintendo's problem, it's Activision's fault. The genre is futuristic first-person shooter, and I think it pulls it off beautifully. Coming out 10 years ago, this game still holds up really well. The transitions between boarding an enemy ship to transitioning into open space combat to finally jumping into a starfighter, or jackal in this game, and diving into air combat. You can do all that without seeing a single loading screen. The guns are all themed around the future, obviously, with the Volk and NV4 coming out as your standard assault rifle to the DCM-8 being a standout shotgun, because with the right attachments, it can aim right to the nearest target, blowing them down instantly. Unlike the choppers and uncustomizable rails-on vehicle missions in previous entries, Infinite Warfare allows you to take full control of fighter jets and customize weapons and the looks of your jackal. Now, it is limited, but that option is still welcomed. By the late game, if you did any side missions, changing your weapons of your jackal to what suits you is key to success quickly and efficiently. Your tacticals and lethals are akin to Advanced Warfare, with anti-gravity grenades and shock grenades. My personal favorite is the drone hack, which allows you to take control of an enemy bot and backstab the enemy, and after 30 seconds you self-destruct, taking out everyone you couldn't get before. It's extremely effective and fun to use. Some of the guns feel the same, all Call of Duties have that problem. And I will say the overall aesthetic for the weapons in this game is very bland. You have your gunmetal grays and blacks, but that's about it. There are different types of ammo as well, normal bullets, and then you have energy guns. Energy guns are more effective at robotic enemies, and with an upgrade, they can replenish ammo to where you could use the same gun during a whole mission without ever reloading. The HUD in this game is obviously the middle ground between Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3, and honestly, I am not a huge fan. I like the over-the-top HUD that you had in Advanced Warfare, and I like how clean Black Ops 3 was, but here it's just so tiny and trying to be a blend of both, and it doesn't work as well. Your tacticals and lethals are right in the middle of the screen, and when you're sitting on a couch about 15 feet away from your 88-inch TV, it's hard to see them. And when you're in the Jackal, the red and blue indicators, differing friend or foe, are so tiny and minuscule and move so fast that I have to keep swiveling around to find my target. I also miss the upgrade system in AW. It was so useful. After each mission, you would improve your character bit by bit, and you could pick and choose what to prioritize. But in an Infinite Warfare, the only upgrades you can get are from completing side missions, which, being an OCD completionist, I did, but I know most people aren't. You can't choose which upgrades, and it's not really clear if you have them except for a small pop-up in the corner once you finish the mission. What I do like is that they carry over to your Specialist and YOLO playthroughs, which I'll discuss later. When you are doing open air space combat, you really get full control of your Jackal, which I enjoy. It's not an on-rail shooter. You get to dodge and weave through asteroids and debris as you try to take down enemy Jackals, known as Skeletors and Destroyers. You have a light gun, a heavy gun, and missiles that you can restock on if you run out. The environments in which these battles take place are honestly breathtaking. Fighting with a planet in the background is so cool. It's built really well, no stutters or frame drops of any kind. The game ran at 60 frames on my PS5 the entire playthrough. There is a criticism that I have though. Because the game takes place majority in space, you're going to be on a lot of spaceships. And I will say they definitely reuse the same areas for different spaceships in every mission. You have the armory, the maintenance room, the hangar, and the same basic metal walls hallway. For majority of the game, it didn't really bother me, which was alright for my first playthrough as the game isn't really that long. If you streamline it, it will take you only about 6 to 7 hours. But on replaying it for footage, I definitely got tired of seeing the same room on a completely different ship. But what really surprised me was how much I enjoyed the Jackal missions, as they weren't as mundane as I thought they would become over the course of the story. The guns feel amazing as they do in every Call of Duty game. Overall, gameplay in Infinite Warfare is really solid.
Today, the front embarks on a conquest. Here and now, we will eradicate the authority and influence of the Earth.
The story is set in the distant future of the 2180s. The United Nations have figured out a way to put people on every known planet, get resources from them, have mining sites, and military bases on each. A new military organization, the United Nations Space Alliance, the UNSA, is charged with protecting the solar system. In the opening mission, you play a character, part of the UNSA, investigating communication losses with another planet holding a powerful weapon. But your team gets ambushed by the Settlement Defense Front, which is a fascist political movement operating on Mars, having succeeded from the Earth 30 years prior. The main antagonist, Admiral Celine Koch, tells you that he wants all of space's resources. Then you get pummeled to death by Conor McGregor. And no, I'm not kidding, And yes, it's awesome. After that mission, you play as Lieutenant Nick Reyes, a Marine who just came back to Earth from a routine mission when the SDF plans an ambush on Earth during a celebration when all the major combat carriers would be vulnerable for an attack. It starts an intergalactic war between the UNSA and SDF from their respective planets, Earth and Mars. Reyes gets on one of the two carriers still standing, the Retribution, which will be your main hub for the campaign. Along with him is his wingman and best friend, Executive Officer Nora Salter, who becomes his anchor throughout the story as the war escalates. The captain of the Retribution dies in the attack on Earth, leaving Reyes as the highest command. As captain, you decide what missions your team goes on, and can access the captain's quarters in between missions to see the most wanted list, the people in command who need to die. On Jackal-specific missions, they're called aces, and have a yellow marker underneath their red one, and are generally harder to take down.
You clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger.
You can also access your computer, where you can listen to audio logs about certain characters or debriefs after each mission. You can also head over to a lounge area where a news story on the television, fittily named IW News, recounts your last mission. Finally, in the bridge, you have a map, where you can select your next mission. After you first get on the Retribution, they plan a retaliation at the SDF, and here is where you meet most of the supporting characters. You have E3N, known as Ethan, who is a highly advanced robot made to support you and the Retribution.
You know I get stage fright, right, sir?
You got feelings, Ethan?
I do, Lieutenant. I do. I carry the brain of a human farmer.
Holy shit, are you serious?
No, ma'am, not at all.
He got you, Lieutenant.
Did not.
He is a vulnerable asset in your fight against the SDF. Eventually, he goes from being your standard robot to one of your closest comrades. Then you have Omar, a British UNSA Marine who distrusts your ability as a leader at first, and also dislikes working with Ethan because he's a robot.
Check your bot, Captain, before I throw him out the airlock. See what those things can do.
But after an event where Ethan had to save his life, and he came to know you more, you become close allies.
Captain. Yeah. Let's bring Ethan with us. I want him on the team. He'll be glad to hear that.
Then you've got Gator, your guy in the chair.
Guy in the chair.
He flies the Retribution everywhere you need it and comes to support you in your Jackal battles. One of the themes this plot focuses on is where to cross the line between saving your team or sacrificing them for the greater sake of the mission. Reyes especially struggles with this throughout the campaign. As in Operation Dark Quarry, when you go to save some hostages on an unstable asteroid next to Mercury, you and your team are about to exfil when one of the hostages is held back by enemy forces, and Omar goes to save him. You have to leave, otherwise the sun is going to burn up the carrier you're on. Omar tells Reyes to leave, but Reyes refuses.
Gotta go now, Staff Sergeant! I won't make it! Leave me! Go! Mission Spot, go now! Stop! Soldier, stop! That's an order!
Omar says mission first, and Salter, who is flying the carrier, complies, leaving Omar to die. Also, for just 1 second, can we admire how great this mission works when the sun comes up and the robots power on, the sun goes dark and it's safe to move outside, but when it comes back up, the robots turn on and you can't be outside, otherwise you're going to burn up. A very good piece of game design right there. Anyways, Reyes is angry at Salter for leaving Omar behind, but Salter says it was for the sake of the mission and their lives, and that Omar knew what he signed up for. What I like about Reyes is that what they're dealing with is mostly out of their control, and the only thing he can control is how he responds to it. So while he isn't happy with it, he says this.
This day's not ending anytime soon. Let's keep the barrel side out. Fight the enemy, not each other. You got the green light to do whatever it takes.
Sorry about Omar Reyes.
Me too, Sol.
This line shows how Reyes is willing to follow through with the mission, even if he doesn't like the unfortunate cost of war. Now let's talk about the villain. No, wait, that's not right. Hang on a second. Let me flip through my footage just real quick. Where is he? I know he's here somewhere. Ah, here he is. Okay, this guy. He's not the best villain I've seen when it comes to character development. He could be great, but he's barely seen after the opening mission. And when he is, he just does the standard bad guy monologue where he's going to rule the world, blah 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 blah, Mars Eternal. You were going to draw him to Earth, but it went poorly. After a really cool boarding sequence, you take over his ship and you kill him. He didn't leave much of an impression on me, and it seems like Infinity Ward wanted to spend more time fleshing out the characters that are helping Reyes, and I'm honestly fine with that. Koch was just the guy to give you a reason to go from point A to point B. I can see where they could have improved to make him have more of a higher stake in the story, but it's alright with how they did it. Now, I'll skip ahead to the final mission. Your attack on the offense failed, and you couldn't get the SDF main port of supplies on Mars. You took out the main antagonist, Celine Koch, but at what cost? The ship you had stolen from Celine Koch had rammed into the Retribution instead of the port. Now you've both crash landed on Mars, home of the SDF. It's time to make your final stand, and you all probably know you're not coming out of this alive.
Oh, wait. Captain. How will you get home? No one's going home. You board that ship and you terminate this place, Sol. Do as much damage as you can before SDF takes you out.
I can do both. I can hit the shipyard and drop out of here.
You won't have time.
Watch me.
You got the green light to do whatever it takes. You got the green light to do whatever it takes. Just finish the mission.
This mission is extremely somber because many of your friends that you've gotten to know throughout the story fall in the final push against the SDF. And although it's predictable, I still felt sad when they died because I had gotten to know them over the course of the game, especially if you did the side missions. It ends with your three main characters left: Reyes, Ethan, and Salter. Salter separates from them to take control of another carrier to ram into the port once the weapons are down. But her carrier's weapons are not yet operating, so Ethan and Reyes go to activate the weapon system. Ethan makes the sacrifice required to activate the weapon.
Self-destruct, sir. The detonation will ignite the core. It'll set off a chain reaction and blow the mooring.
There's gotta be another way.
I'm afraid not, sir. I understand the conflict, Captain. I'm ready, I promise. Good luck, Reyes. It's been an honor, sir.
Honor was all mine, Metal One.
And as Salter unleashes fire on the port, you get blown out into space to watch the SDF be taken down by Salter. Then when debris strikes you, you die.
All stations, Star 1-2, transmitting in the blind. Shipyard destroyed. Reyes, do you copy? Peter? Nick, do you copy?
It ends with the story of a hero sacrificing himself for the greater good. Kind of like Braveheart and Gladiator. I'm not happy about it, but it is well told, and I felt for it when Reyes makes the sacrifice. The story ends with Salter, one of the 4 survivors, visiting Reyes at the Wall of the Fallen, which is coincidentally where the story started, with Reyes and Salter walking through the Wall of the Fallen.
Not a list you want to make. Peace to the fallen.
Peace to the fallen. Salt, I heard what you...
What I love about this campaign is how IW made you connect and develop relations with these characters. Every character except the villain feels unique and had enough screen time that you felt for their death. Of course, after you beat the main campaign, you can replay it on Specialist mode, where it's like Arma Reforger only in Call of Duty. Much harder, very realistic. Each shot to a certain part of your body matters and can affect how you play. If you get a headshot, your helmet will crack and eventually break, and you'll suffocate if you're in space, or be vulnerable to one shot in the head and then you'll die. Then you have YOLO mode, where you guessed it, you only have one life, and if you die, you have to restart the whole campaign. Look, I beat Black Ops 6 on Veteran, but there's no way I'm doing that.
You been down to Titan? Oh yeah. Ops? No.
It truly saddens me not seeing more people play this game. This campaign is truly underrated because of where the gaming landscape was when it came out 10 years ago. More people would have played it if it had came out at a different time. And luckily, time has been good to this game. People everywhere talk about how good the campaign in Infinite Warfare is now, with incredibly lifelike cutscenes, thrilling action-packed moments, and emotional moments that all feel balanced and well thought out, is something we've been missing in recent years. It changes up the standard formula with the setting of space that grants Star Wars-like combat missions. The side missions don't feel like filler, but they're actually contributing to the world building. This story feels surprisingly grounded even with its futuristic vibes. I could easily imagine this happening in real life in the near future. The characters are instantly relatable, and all the voice actors, even the villain, you can tell they put their heart and soul into their roles. It's a somber story, but also an uplifting one, that even when we are on our last leg, we are not going to give up and keep fighting the good fight, even if it costs us our lives. If you don't care about the other modes I did not discuss in this video, still buy the game. It's well worth the $20 to $30 to get a campaign that a $70 game can't deliver these days. It might not be long, but it will stick with you for much longer. Please, if you gave up on Call of Duty long ago, I'm not trying to convince you to pick it back up. Don't even think of this campaign as a Call of Duty game, but as a separate game entirely that just so happens to carry the Call of Duty title. Give this a shot. It's well worth your time. I know this has been a longer video, but thank you to those who have stuck with me till the end. I put a ton of work into this, and a comment would go a long way. If you have thoughts agreeing or disagreeing with me, let me know. Thank you to those who put together the Call of Duty wiki for all the information you have on Infinite Warfare. Thank you to all the actors and actresses who put their heart and soul into these characters. For even a decade later, people are still enjoying the story that's being told today. Please like and subscribe, and as I post this, I'm already working on my next video. This is Game Gear 585 signing off.